Hello. Today I want to share about past lifetimes. And I'm drawn to do this today because I have had some stuff come up in the last couple days myself. So I felt inspired today to share my journey on the insights I've been given about past lifetimes. And I'm going to say a good portion of you who are watching this will have had some sort of past life memory or something coming through that you weren't even aware of. That you've been getting a lot more than you actually realize that you're getting. And I'm going to say that because I did. And the fact that I'm drawn to talk about this means that some of you out there have been too. So first off, I want to begin by saying I'm not going to explain what past lifetimes are, because if you're watching this video, you've already come to the point you understand that. However, you might also understand this too, but they are all going on simultaneously at the same time right now as the lives that we are living right now. Like everything is happening now. And so all of our lifetimes, as I have understood it, all of our lifetimes are still carrying on their part of things, but in an energetic sense. Because what I've been shown and what I understand is that our soul has chosen to incarnate, like for example, through this body in this lifetime. And so all the other lifetimes that are still occurring are energetic, but they're still happening at this time. And as we come to our ascension in this lifetime and our own realization, so are our other lifetimes. They are as well. Finding some words is a tongue twister today. Anyway, so those are occurring, and as they are having their realizations and their ascensions, there's no body to transmute their energies, no body to transmute their energies that need to be balanced, that need to be neutralized, which is what transmutation, alchemy, letting things up to be healed means, basically to be neutralized. And because those past lifetimes are an aspect of ourselves, it is through us that their emotions, as they go through their realizations and their ascensions, those aspects of them come through us to be healed, neutralized. And which also, I have also been shown that anything that we feel in this lifetime, anything that comes up is not ours. It's not ours. It's everything we have picked up. We have chosen it, but it's not ours. We have chosen it to believe, or it's been passed down through generations or lifetimes that we've picked up on it. And those are our belief systems that we are running, but they are not ours. So when they come up to be acknowledged, or an emotion is with them, or there's a trigger, it's basically for us to take a look at and say, hey, I see it. I acknowledge this. I no longer choose this aspect of myself. I let this go. And it really is stripping away all of the identities and the aspects that we are not. It's letting all of those fall away so that when we create space for light to come in, that we can remember who we are, right? So with that being said, all of our lifetimes, yes, being transmuted through us. Because at one point, that soul, our soul, was in their bodies, if that makes sense. I might just have made it a little more confusing, but I'm sure you figure it out. So the signs that you have been getting past life information. And the first one, it always goes by feeling. I'm sure we've all figured it out by now. Everything goes by feeling. And with that, there also will be memories, and there will be third eye visualizations. And I'm just going to share with you a couple of my experiences, just so that way maybe they might trigger some things, or it might be some aha moments of, oh, that's what I'm experiencing. Sorry, it's really hot out and I keep squinting. It's smoky and that sun's bright. Anyway, so I have had several moments of past lives coming in. Most of them have been pretty light. Excuse me. Oh, I think I have a hair in my eye. The main one that I really would like to share is I have seen myself being hung. And this started by a trigger that I had. And by no means did this trigger that I had have to do with death at all. And I had to sit with it and allow it to just kind of go through the motions. And I had asked, what do I need to know about this? And after the trigger kind of had subsided, I was then shown standing on a platform with a noose around my neck. And they were just about to take out the floor. And the feelings that were associated with it was what I was meant to experience. And I was so angry. I was so angry in that moment that for every lifetime, I always chose I would go towards the light and I'd work with the light. And I was all about this transformation and change, and got killed for it every time. And my anger and abandonment at that time was that I got left to die, that the universe couldn't save me, that I was living my life for this, and they let me die every time. And there was like such a resentment to it, right? And it really makes sense in this lifetime for myself why I really ran from all of it for a long time. I wanted nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with anything. This is totally off course. But I'm just saying it just made a lot of sense. And it made sense why I had that trigger, which had nothing to do. I would have never thought that trigger was because of something like that. It was absolutely wild. And it just goes to show that a lot of the stuff we are experiencing in this lifetime, our limiting beliefs and things like that, aren't even from this lifetime. They go so deep and far into other lifetimes. And another whole purpose of why we are integrating all of these other lifetimes to come through, because it's actually healing and giving us liberation in this lifetime as well. Okay, so that happened that way. I've also noticed when I have seen a situation or I come across a person going through a certain situation, and I literally feel like I know exactly what they're living. I don't know the person from the hole in the ground. I literally walk by, I see the situation, for example, like a homeless person, or things like that. Like I understand, like I see them. I don't know specifically their all the inner workings of how they got there, but just seeing them on the streets and seeing how they live their life and don't know when they're getting their next meal. And I feel all of it. I feel all of it. And I've realized it's because I've lived that. I have been that, which is interesting that I use that analogy, because yesterday and today I've really been shown myself as a beggar on the street. And with this intense, emotional, sharp pain, like a dagger has been like stuck in my heart. Like it's been not that happened in that lifetime. It was the pain of it. And the fact that I use the word dagger means, obviously, guess the timeline, right? Back then. I'm not really great at knowing the years back then. I have no concept of time half the time anyway. So it's interesting because we resonate with so many things in this lifetime, and we might not even know why at like face value, but really it's because we've lived that. Our soul recognizes that because it has lived that. And if you can have empathy and feel what other people are going through, then you've lived it. Because just because a person has empathy, if you have never experienced something like anxiety or depression in your entire life, it is really hard for people to work or be around other people or to empathize with other people who are going through that, because you don't have that resonance. You don't have that you don't have that energy to match that person, to do that, to be able to tap into that. Because we can only have empathy for what we understand. And I'm not saying that makes people cold-hearted. I'm just saying empathy is being able to feel what other people feel, but everything's an energetic match. So if you've never experienced something in this lifetime, or that hasn't been triggered by a past lifetime, you might have compassion for that person and be able to sit with them while they're going through what they're going through, but you're not going to feel that. And also, once you've healed from a lot of the depression and the anxiety yourself, when you've healed from all those aspects, I'm finding now I don't have that empathy with those people because I've healed that. And I guess this goes back to the mirroring process, right? But that's not what I'm here to chat about. And so I find when you are with people and you can feel what they feel and you can understand why they're going through what they're going through, it's because you have been there. You have been there. And if you can, and my other thing I will say is, if you have something that's brought up, or you see a situation, or you have something that brings something up, like a feeling or a memory, and you can't relate it to this lifetime, you know for a fact you've never felt that in this lifetime, and you've never felt that or seen that in this lifetime. It's because you haven't. It's because it came from another lifetime. And it's so crazy because I can look at all of it, and like, it's just, as I'm talking about this right now, it's almost like I could take all my lifetimes and blend them all together, and it's just me right now. Like, it could just mesh all in together. But it's because I'm talking about it, I'm giving energy to it, so it's all immersing into my energy field, right? The other is something that you might feel really strongly about, or you, like I say, this is a resonance that you really understand, and you're not quite sure why you understand it as well. I think this goes back to what I just said before. But it's, for myself, I have understood the Indigenous culture for a really long time. And even as a kid growing up, when other people judged them, I never did. Because there was always something, I looked at them, that there was something always here. And I wasn't sure of it. And over the last few years, and I have also been around and worked with a lot of them, that I start to remember more things. And it just being around a lot of them, and a lot of them trying to even remember their own roots and their own cultures, because they've been so far away from it, actually brought up a lot of things within me that I realized that I had been in that culture many lifetimes, because there's a natural home resonance that I feel within that culture. I've also seen myself go to war. knowing the battle, which explains why I was always so drawn to date people and guys in the military. That's hilarious. That was in the past, but I now realize why, because I empathize. I empathized with them. I really understood. I understood, and for a while there, I knew I understood. I just didn't know why, and I didn't care to know why. And until I started getting my own memories through some of my meditations earlier on of feeling all of my stuff come up, and I was shown being in battle, and I was really emotional because you lose a lot of people that you care about and leaving that behind, and that weighs a heavy toll. And I felt all of that in meditation. I felt all of it come through, and it was such a beautiful release. And now, because I used to be so drawn to watch all these war movies and all this stuff over and over, and it was just like, as I watched them, I'm just like, it's like you were there, because I was there because I was there at some point in time, right? And then this lifetime, I just know, when people would be drawn to go to war, I was just like, It's almost like I knew what that was all about, and I wanted no part of that, right? But the healer, fixer part of me, the one that wasn't quite matured yet, thought they could help heal people, but we know how that goes. And so that one was really interesting as well. And the other interesting one, which I think is a more natural one, is coming into this lifetime already knowing how to do things. Some people are gifted musicians. We're seeing nowadays with young children being able to play the piano, remembering that they lived. There's TV shows about it. The kids remember being on the Titanic, having night terrors of it going down. Amazing things are happening, and the awareness with opening up the awareness for children to share with their parents and to just make it a more normalized thing, I think is a truly amazing thing. Truly, really amazing. And as well, the people. And I'm sure the majority of you watching this already know this one. It's your resonance with your soul people. You've spent lifetimes with them. And I've even been getting to a place where I am around some of them, and I just sit back, and I literally, in my mind's eye, am being shown multiple lifetimes, with, depending on who. Some of this is just one or two, but with the majority of my soul family, my friends and family that are my resonance, I'm being shown the different lifetimes I've had with them and how far back it goes. And it's really, I just think it's so amazing that we forget, we come in every single time, and we have a tribe and we have our families that we continuously meet up with. It's like we always find each other, and we do this journey together. And help each other remember. And that's why I so love watching certain movies. Those are the only ones that I'll really watch, honestly, are movies about that specific, the ones that are meant to wake us up, the ones that are there to show us, hey, this is what's going on. And I just really love that we are all here for each other, to help each other, to remember who we really are. And it's just, the whole thing is just wild. It's just wild to think that we come here and there are souls out there that are like, yeah, hell no, we ain't coming down to earth. We will watch from the sidelines. But, and even just the different perspectives of things, from lifetime to lifetime, as we get more light on the earth and seeing things, and to look at things in such a way from my past lifetime, like when I saw the beggar on the street and I felt all of that stuff, And I asked my soul, how bad was that? Because I'm at a vibrational capacity that I can handle that without being brought to my knees. But that pain was so painful even for me to feel. And it being in that era, I had asked how painful was that for that person. And I was shown and felt to the capacity that I could feel, basically dropped to his knees and didn't want to live anymore. It was so painful. And here I am at a vibrational capacity that I am able to transmute that I am able to neutralize and heal that, so that lifetime can be healed. And it makes some sense. I'm not sure if I had mentioned this prior, but the last couple of days, I definitely have been wanting to crawl, like sleep in longer and go to bed earlier and have naps during the day, because of how I have been feeling that I don't want to be awake for it. I really just want to sleep it away. I don't want to feel it. And so by asking how bad was that, and seeing that and feeling that as much as I could, to understanding why I wanted to crawl into bed and I didn't want to stay awake, because that was an aspect that was coming up and I wasn't fully realizing it, to be like, oh, hey, this is what this is. I see it. I feel it. I let it go. I was resisting it because I wasn't understanding, and it was still flashing the beggar, but I wasn't understanding it to the fullness of what it was until I started journaling, until I started writing stuff down. And I was being asked to accept other parts of my past lives that aren't so pretty, the ugly ones, the stuff that where we did things or I've done things that probably would have landed me in jail in this lifetime, which I know I've been in jail in previous lifetimes because I have felt that as well. So there's just a lot of amazing things that we are going to experience, and then we're going to be asked to experience when we're ready for it. We're going to be asked to experience the not so pretty things. And they always say that this journey isn't for the weak of heart. And I really understand that in moments like this. And I also will say the last couple of days I had some very vindictive feels come up, energies come up, and I've been alone. I live out in the country. I haven't been anywhere all week. It's just my dog and my cat, and I don't want to be around people. And I've been really feeling this vindictive energy, and I wasn't just nasty, like really, really nasty. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, why am I feeling this? Because I'm not normally like this. And so with the journaling this morning, I was being asked to accept the parts of me that are not pretty. And I was shown something about being a witch, kind of like I was shown like Once Upon a Time, like how evil those evil witches are that have been hurt so many times, or just they have no heart, and they just like wished cruelty and vindictiveness and revenge on everybody. And so with that, and the beggar, obviously it's not just the beggar, it was the lying, the cheating, the stealing, all those things that came up with that, and all the emotions that were attached with that. And so I think now that I've realized and I've gotten the message that there is stuff coming that is past life of not so pretty things, it doesn't allow me to have judgment on what I'm feeling. And that, I find that always makes it so much worse, is judging what we're feeling and even judging that lifetime. But as soon as I have clarity and I know that it's from a past life, or it is, and it's never ours. And I mean, we are our own worst critic, and we judge ourselves for things, and we really need to let those go. But I also feel like there are things that are coming up that if I just know what they are and I get clarity on what they are, I'm like, oh, and then I don't have judgment. I don't have attachment to it. I more or less seem to have more judgment to things I can't understand. And I want to push it away. But this is an inclusive reality, not exclusive. We have to include everything. Because anything that we exclude, we are excluding an aspect of ourselves, right? Past life or not. And so I think for me, that was a saving grace this morning, journaling. And the thoughts have been coming through to journal for the last couple of days. And I've been in a very resistful, stubborn, that I don't need to. But also that's the ego telling me that, but everything's a choice, and I was aware of that. And it just got to the point that I couldn't feel what I felt anymore. I couldn't, like, I didn't know where to turn, what to do. And there's nothing that I can do in, like, to get to drink, or there's nothing that can take any of it away. And just 5 minutes of journaling just clicked. And it's just like the voice comes in. It's like, you always got to make it so hard for yourself. Yeah, sometimes I just do. But yeah, so that's what I've got for you on past lifetimes. And if there's anything else that I feel like is worth another video that I've kind of forgotten about, I definitely will post something else. But I love to be able to share this with whoever needs to find this. There's a lot of things that are going on a certain vibrational frequency with a lot of us. And a lot of it is hard to understand. And fortunately enough, I am really good at how it comes in and being able to interpret it to people. And if there's something that you don't understand and you're watching this and you have a more different specific way or dialogue of being able to understand it, I definitely can one-on-one explain something in a different way that will resonate with you more as well. So there you have it, and have a beautiful day.